Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Chaos at court as a man accused of killing a sheriff's deputy a day after his son was shot by a police officer asked to be released on bail. I lay out the horrific chain of events.
So I know y'all been seeing this, but I haven't heard anything about this story. Like, if you don't know me, I don't have social media. Like, I don't have Instagram. Like, I scroll on TikTok briefly throughout the week, not even every day, like weekly. So I've seen this, like clips of this, and I've seen like clips of him in the courtroom, but all of this is new to me. Like all of this is fucking new.
Out of Ohio and where the case could be heading.
Are you familiar with the acts of someone that is not in their right mind when they commit a criminal act?
I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Before I get into this case out of Ohio, I want to talk a little bit about true crime news and law and crime. In a pen today, he was doing that, directing a sheriff's deputy last December. He was still working, though, occasionally for that sheriff's office in Cincinnati doing special details. Last Friday, he was doing that, directing traffic for graduation at the University of Cincinnati when police say a man named Rodney Hinton Jr. deliberately drove his vehicle into Henderson at this intersection. Deputy Henderson was rushed to the local trauma center, but there was nothing that could be done to save him. Within hours, he passed away from these devastating injuries. You're probably asking yourself, why would anybody deliberately drive a vehicle into somebody, much less a sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic at a college graduation?
That's the dad?
Well, police say Rodney Hinton Jr. did this on purpose, possibly to avenge the death of his son, Ryan Hinton. Ryan Hinton was 18 years old, and a day earlier, a Cincinnati police officer shot and killed him after encountering him and some others in a car that had been reported stolen out of Kentucky. Here's the police chief.
Officers across the country confront danger.
Killed him after encountering him and some others in a car that had been reported stolen out of Kentucky. Here's the police chief.
Officers across the country confront dangerous situations every day, sometimes more than once a day. They are often compelled to make split-second decisions to protect others and themselves when faced with immediate threats. Yesterday was one of those occurrences.
At Zippy Shell, we make moving and storage simple, whether you're moving and plan to do it yourself or need more.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic. No one wins, and everyone involved is affected.
Police Chief Teresa Thigi outlined what occurred. It's something the Cincinnati Police Department does within 24 hours of an officer-involved shooting taking place.
Where the incident occurred is at the dead end of the parking lot back here. You'll see vehicles there now. You'll see a photo. The stolen car that we're going to talk about was backed into a parking spot back there.
Damn, they
You
got
can see this is a
them.
stolen Kia. It was stolen out of northern Kentucky yesterday. You can see we have two uniformed cars there. Prior to those uniformed cars arriving, we had two undercover cars that pulled into that dead end, saw the vehicle. They backed out. They saw that there were individuals inside the vehicle, so they backed out and let the uniform cars make the approach, which is the tactically sound decision to do. The cars are positioned the way the officers are trained. We are trained to use our vehicles as cover.
Does anybody know if this body cam footage is out there? If this body cam footage is out there and you know, put the link down in the bio.
From any threat. That's what those officers did with the cars at that time.
Chief Thigi then played a short portion of the body camera footage.
This is body-worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bobby.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!
This is the body camera footage from the officer who actually shot Ryan Hinton.
This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene.
So
This
he
is the
started-
firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him. It's just a photo of it here at...
So, dude's son, I forgot his name. So he had a gun on him. That's a fact. Little bro had a gun on him, and he was in a stolen car. Not saying he stole the car, but he had a gun on him. He had a firearm on him. I'm assuming, he was under the age to legally carry, right? And they caught the nigga running with it.
Criminalistics. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete and the officer said that they heard the metal hit the ground? There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm. This is a second, sorry Bobby, can you go back 1 frame please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. Go ahead. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket, his jacket pocket. And that is the magazine.
So that right there confirms that the gun was his. He had the gun on him, and not only that, you had an extra mag in your hoodie pocket or in your jacket pocket. So that confirms that this gun was his. This was his gun.
From that second magazine. This is another firearm that was located inside the stolen vehicle. This is a firearm that was also stolen out of northern Kentucky sometime yesterday, early yesterday morning.
Stolen guns,
Approximately,
stolen
we believe,
car.
based on timelines. This was stolen from a vehicle in northern Kentucky, and then they went on to steal the vehicle that's involved in the incident.
I want to tell you about a free app that I've tried. It's called
I
Upside.
hate when they do this
against
dumbass
Dean
shit.
Hinton's family, including his father, Rodney Hinton Jr.
On Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the Bodycam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting.
Rodney Hinton left the meeting with the police chief, and sometime after that is when police say he intentionally drove his vehicle into Deputy Larry Henderson. A probable cause affidavit states a Hamilton County Sheriff's Office deputy was standing on the sidewalk at the corner of the intersection outside of the lanes of travel where he was engaged in traffic control. The deputy was wearing a uniform and a fluorescent traffic vest. Based on witness statements and evidence at the scene, the defendant drove across oncoming lanes of traffic through the intersection and directly at the deputy, who was struck by the vehicle, causing injuries to the deputy. That intersection near the University of Cincinnati's campus has flowers and blue ribbons decorated in memory and in honor of Larry Henderson, a man who was simply working a detail directing traffic for the University of Cincinnati's graduation. He worked at a different agency, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, than the police officer who shot Ryan Hinton. Larry Henderson had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Ryan Hinton. On Monday, Ryan Hinton's family stood with their lawyers, distancing themselves from what Ryan's father is accused of doing, intentionally murdering Deputy Henderson.
We're here because we represent the estate of Ryan. We're not here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We do offer our condolences to the officer and his family, but we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan. His family is very upset about what occurred. We believe that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry.
Right, and I was gonna say that too. So we got to do a little bit more digging. We got a good amount of time in this video, but before, usually I'm straight to the point and straight to it with my opinions, but this one is a bit different. Usually when we watch these videos, the dynamic of it is different. So we're given, what am I trying to say? The evidence that we're given is thrown at us very, very quickly. We see niggas shoplifting and they in the store, and we watch them on camera, boom, boom, boom. We got all the evidence we need right there. So I can call you a stupid motherfucker initially, because I already got all of the evidence that I need to call you a stupid motherfucker within the first like 5 minutes of the video. But just because you have a gun on you, even if you are not of age to legally carry a firearm, just because you walk around with a gun on you, that doesn't mean that you some thug ass nigga. It don't make you a gangbanger. It doesn't make you a threat. It doesn't make you tough. It don't make you I don't know, a crazy person or a bad person, or it doesn't mean that you have any intentions on harming anybody. You know what I'm saying? So just because he had this gun on him doesn't mean that he was about to pull it out and shoot an officer. Doesn't mean that he was about to go rob somebody. Doesn't mean that he's a danger to society because he walked around with a gun on him. Maybe he was just protecting himself. You never know. So that's the only reason why I ain't really said nothing yet. Now, when they were chasing him, that's why I really want to watch the body cam video, because that's really going to help me give the decision that I want to make, or give the opinion that I want to give. But like, if he did some shit like they was running towards him and he was reaching for it or tried to pull it out, then that's fair game, bro. Rest in peace to Ryan. You know what I'm saying? And my heart goes out to the family and his father. But if he did some dumb shit like tried to pull it out or reach for it while they was approaching him, while they was running at him, then that's on him. Because why would you do that, bro? You got police officers. You know, you probably 9 times out of 10 he knew that car was stolen. Even if he didn't, you know you got a gun on you, and you know it's another fucking gun or another nigga in the car with a gun on you, but you know you shouldn't have it on you. But regardless of that, if you see a police officer running up on you, why the fuck would you reach for it? Nigga, you asking to die. So that's the only reasonable justification for this officer killing this young man, is if he reached for that gun. If he didn't reach for it, and he was just running and it fell out and he just popped him because he seen it, then nah, I ain't feeling that.
So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to analyze frame by frame each one of these videos to determine why the officer made that deadly decision to shoot and kill Ryan.
Ryan Hinton's grandfather, the father of Rodney Hinton, also spoke.
I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got hurt, got killed, my whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson.
Don't ask nobody for forgiveness,
for him and
bro.
his family, because I know he's hurting off this. If I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen 2 scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate.
And what's even fucked up is that's extremely real, bro. And it probably was just that. Even if the officer didn't see the gun, or if he didn't reach for it, the officer might have just been scared as fuck. You chasing, a suspect, and he got a gun on him, and one running this way, another running this way. You know that the car is stolen. It's another, you know that there are multiple firearms. You don't know what the fuck happened. Then on top of that, you see that the suspect that you are chasing has a gun on you. You fuck around and you got it. It could have just been that, bro.
Incident that happened. So that's all I
Not to downplay the situation.
I didn't see the police there trying to
you
kill.
just gotta be mindful.
No. What I seen was 2 persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. You know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent Him.
Seem like a good man.
So, with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court over the weekend following his arrest on an aggravated murder charge. A wall of Larry Henderson's colleagues surrounded him. Hinton muttered something about being gone forever. Hinton was moved to a jail in a neighboring county. He was back in court asking for bail, and things got heated in the gallery when his brother attempted to contact him by knocking on the courtroom glass.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
Have a seat, sir.
Sit down. That's my brother.
Now they finna do the extras with the brother. Now they finna do the extras with the brother.
Rodney Hinton was rushed out of the courtroom as his brother was escorted out of the gallery. Shortly thereafter, court resumed, with Hinton's lawyer asking for bail for him and entering a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Judge, I'm gonna waive probable cause as a result of being
Doing all that extra, what the fuck you expect that nigga to do, bro? That's his brother in there. He ain't seen him in a minute, nigga. What the fuck y'all expect? Nigga, just let the nigga turn around to see him. Nigga want to keep running his mouth. He don't want to sit down and shut the fuck up after that. Kick that nigga out. Why are we doing all the extras?
acquainted with the case. I'm waiving probable cause.
Thank you.
He looked like a skinny Samuel L. Jackson.
Is there a plea this morning?
There's a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty?
Yes.
Will you enter a plea of not guilty? And thank you. And as to bond, the state has requested a hearing on the issue of bond or bail. You may be aware of that.
I am aware of that.
Who would like to proceed?
I'm proceeding, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, a detective testified about what happened that day.
Tell me what he did after he stopped.
So based on witness statements as well as the video, the vehicle accelerated quickly, proceeded eastbound, crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic when there was no longer traffic to obstruct his travel. Crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic, went to the left of those little stanchions that are in the middle of the roadway, into the oncoming lanes, through the intersection, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, and struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to
So,
break,
I mean, he didn't
stop,
try to stop
or
at all.
otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
And you can
And
see it
is
in
that
his
the
face. He don't
conclusion
give
that
a
our
fuck.
accident reconstructionists have come to at this point?
At this time, yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
Chin up, chest out. He don't give a fuck. Nigga does not care. He don't give a damn about that deputy, bro. Y'all niggas took my son. I don't care about. The only thing that I have to say about this is it's not even like this was the man that actually killed your son. So you took that's the only thing that I don't fucking like about this. Yeah, an eye for an eye, and I understand that. I get it. He grieving. He frustrated. That's his fucking son, bro. It's not his homie. It's not his partner. It's not his best friend. That's his son. Son. So that's heavy, my nigga. But to take an innocent man's life because of that, I can't rock with that, bro. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I don't care how niggas feel. I can't get down with that. Now, if it was a nigga that actually shot your son and you seen that nigga at the... Hey, I wouldn't be mad at you. I wouldn't. But he didn't have nothing to do with that. He didn't have nothing to do with that, bro. So that's the only aspect of this that I ain't fucking feeling. I'm not feeling that, bro. You ran down, you drove down oncoming traffic and ran down and drove down the intersection and killed a deputy to get back at these niggas who shot your son, which I understand, but what did that solve? Now you finna to spend the rest of your life in jail. I don't know. Did he get sentenced yet? I don't know. I guess we gonna figure that out. But you gonna spend a lengthy time in prison. But I mean, after his son dying, who knows? His perspective may be, man, I ain't got nothing else to live for, nigga. My son gone. Fuck it. But I just running over the innocent deputy at the traffic stop by the school. I ain't feeling that, bro. That just didn't really make no sense to me. That right there is just simply he did. That was an impulsive decision that he made out of him being angry. That's all that was, bro. He knew that it wasn't going to fix nothing. He knew that it wasn't going to bring him back. He knew that it wasn't going to change anything in his life positively. He just didn't give a fuck no more. After he lost his son, it's over with. He feel like he don't got nothing to live for no more. That's why this nigga in here with his chin up and his fucking chest out. This shit is sad, my nigga. This is fucked up. Rest in peace to Ryan, man. And my heart goes out to bro. But like I said, man, I stand on that. I don't give a fuck about how niggas feel, bro. To run down and run over an innocent deputy like that, I ain't feeling that, bro.
And did
don't
any
make
of the
no
multiple
sense.
witnesses that you spoke to and the people that were in the vehicles that were surrounding him, the people that were on scene, did anyone indicate that any attempt to slow down or deviate his path straight to Deputy Henderson?
No, everybody said that he accelerated and was traveling at a high rate of speed all the way up until the time that he struck Deputy Henderson.
Okay. And when he struck Deputy Henderson, was the deputy injured?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after he struck Deputy Henderson?
Deputy Henderson was launched several feet through the air. He came to rest in a turn lane several feet from where the collision occurred.
Rodney Hinton's defense attorney then questioned the detective.
Judge, first of all, I would like to offer on behalf of the Hinton family and myself,
They ain't finna give him no bail.
prayers to the Hinton family, prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to ask you a few questions, not a lot, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's a fly-ass
You
coat.
said that Mr. Hinton left the police station around 12:30. CIS.
He initially left around 10:30
Came back and then left again.
and then returned a couple hours later. Yes.
And you said that individuals that know Mr. Hinton, his family members, were saying that he appeared to be agitated, upset, and so forth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't know the source of that agitation or that distraughtness, do you? If you know, you might not. I don't think you do, but you have to answer the question.
The source of the agitation?
Yes.
Well, I would assume it was because of I believe it was because of the video and the reason that he was at
Right.
CIS.
Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
I see.
No,
what
I do
you're
not
trying to
know
do.
detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know?
So they trying to play the mental game. That's what he's trying to do to cut his time. Basically trying to make it say that due to what had happened and prior to that, he might have had some sort of mental instability going on. He might have something. He's not mentally sane enough, and that's what caused him to do that. That played a role in him doing that, which would mean that we can't fully hold him accountable for it, if that makes sense. That's the card that he's trying to pull, because in all honesty, after you do some shit like this, that's the only route that you can go. To run a man down, broad daylight, and shoot this nigga up in the air like a rocket after hitting him like that, blatantly doing it, and you have motive for it, that's the only way that you can get some time cut off. I don't know. That's the only route that you can go.
Whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions. Do you know that? You don't, do you?
No, I do not.
After bond was denied, the sheriff gave a brief
Yeah,
statement.
they won't gonna give him no bond.
He was a 33-year career deputy for our department. He retired approximately 5 months ago, and he continued to serve under oath, and he was directing traffic that day at what would have been a very, very joyous occasion for the University of Cincinnati graduates. Unfortunately, you know what unfolded, and we have lost Larry. Larry has been a deputy who has been so extraordinary. We've retired his badge number. Badge number 129 will be retired. Larry touched so many lives in this organization because he was a
I didn't know
trainer,
they did that.
because he worked in so many specialized units. And Larry was very animate about the fact that he stay on the front line. He did not wish to take exams to be promoted because Larry's service was on that front line. And I have to tell you,
I never knew
is
that they
bravery
retire badge
extraordinaire.
numbers like jerseys.
When deputies decide that they want to be out there facing every day to day, that's a sacrifice, and it's a sacrifice for his family, and they have made the ultimate sacrifice.
I want to bring in Ken Kober. He is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, Ken, this is a shocking turn of events. We have a young man who was in an officer-involved shooting. He was killed by a Cincinnati police officer on a Thursday, and then the next day, police say that his father, and it sounds like intentionally,
he was hurt, bro,
mows down a Hamilton County sheriff's deputy who's directing traffic at a college graduation. So it's a pretty shocking turn of events.
Yeah, it's been a terrible. Thursday was a tragedy. Then an officer had to defend his own life, and then on Friday to have a sheriff's deputy murdered simply directing traffic for a graduation is it's unthinkable.
I know you put out a pretty strong statement after Larry Henderson passed away from being hit by this vehicle, and you were calling for the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case. So it sounds like you believe that this was no accident. You believe that this was intentional. Tell me what you know. So it sounds like you believe that this vehicle, and you were calling for the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case. So it sounds like you believe you believe that this.
And that's the fucked up thing about that. That right there just shows the endless shit like this will never end. Y'all killed his son. He killed one of y'all. Then y'all want to pursue the death penalty, kill him. Then what if somebody else get mad, then try to kill another? Like, it's just an endless cycle of killing, bro. Endless fucking cycle of killing.
Was intentional. Tell me what you know about this that leads you to believe that.
Or at least.
Absolutely. You know, our traffic unit and our homicide unit work together. And through the course of their investigation, they determined that this absolutely was an intentional act. And yes, I am absolutely standing with, I think, every other law enforcement officer in this county that expects the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case.
The lawyer for Ryan Hinton's estate, for the son, said that the father, Rodney Hinton, had been in a meeting with Cincinnati police. And for people who maybe aren't aware of this, there's a long-standing collaborative agreement in the city of Cincinnati where, there was a history many, many moons ago, years ago, of some police-involved shootings involving young African-American men. The federal government came in. There's this agreement where now Cincinnati police, within 24 hours, if there's an officer-involved shooting, they say, this is what we know. They try to be very open with the public and present what they can about the investigation. And before that happened, apparently, they were having a meeting with the family of Ryan Hinton and showing them this body camera footage of what happened. And the family of Ryan Hinton, or the lawyers for Ryan Hinton, said the father left that meeting very angry. And apparently after this meeting is when Mr. Henderson, the deputy, Larry Henderson, was run down by Rodney.
So that nigga left the meeting. Like, I bet. He watched that video with the meeting, or watched the body cam footage with them, sat down in that meeting, went through all of that shit. He was like, okay, so you bitch ass niggas, y'all did this to my son? Bet. Nigga got in his car, drove down to the campus, and ran one of them over. That nigga is a demon. You want to talk about a demon? That nigga, that's YN activity. That's young nigga activity, man. Crash out of the century. Like, I gotta go. What we at, 2140? Did they say that he pointed a gun at them when they caught him, though? Because if he didn't, but you gotta think about it too. If he running, how else would he have known that he had the gun on him unless he pulled it out? Right?
From the officer who actually shot Ryan Hinton.
This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene.
Okay, so this is bro right here. He's running. Oh, no, that's some bullshit.
Body camera as he
Okay,
approaches
no, that's
the
some
scene.
bullshit. It looked like he running in the opposite direction. See, this is why we need this fucking... Is the footage out here?
It was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot.
This nigga's running in the opposite direction, bro. I can't tell whether... It don't look like he got no gun out. It does not look like he has a fucking gun out where he's pointing it. It looked like he running in the opposite fucking direction. So it seems to me, from what I'm seeing now, it shouldn't have been no fucking reason as to why this officer should have shot him. This is why this nigga ran when he all over. But like I said, I still stand on what I said, bro. I still wish he didn't do that. Because it really didn't solve shit. You didn't even get the nigga that actually killed your son. And that's something that you gonna think about too. Sitting in there for the rest of your life. Still knowing that the nigga that killed your son is still breathing. Yeah, you might have taken one of the deputies from the department, but it's not him though. It's not him. He's gonna think about that. There's no fucking way that you can make me believe if he was bold enough to do that and go out there and go run that nigga down, there is no way that he is not in there thinking like, fuck, I fucked up. Not because he did it. I don't think he gives a fuck about doing it. Simply because the nigga that actually murdered his son is still walking around breathing right now. So that really made all of this pointless. But from what I'm seeing though, dude is dead wrong for shooting his son. He dead fucking wrong. And from what I'm seeing, they probably didn't even know the nigga had the gun until they walked up on his body and seen it.
This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him.
So the officers were, and he had that in his hand. But he didn't point it at you though. He didn't lift it up. It looked like the nigga was running. Like maybe I don't know, man. We gotta see that footage, bro. It's so hard for me to say what I want to fucking say or to really say anything because I can't tell whether or not if the nigga really should have shot. It looks like the nigga should have shot him. But if the nigga's running and he might have turned or tucked it under his arm, and we don't know. Like they not really saying nothing about it.
Or did he say something about, you know, I did this on purpose, or, you know, an eye for an eye? I mean, what happened?
I'm not going to get into too much of the investigation and what, you know, they have, evidence they have, but I could tell you all the evidence pointed towards this absolutely was an intentional act. And then that was, in my opinion, only, you know, further proven when at his arraignment Saturday morning, showing absolutely zero remorse whatever for what happened.
Tell me, Ken, if you would, how much of an impact, how difficult has this been for the law enforcement community there in Cincinnati, Ohio, having a deputy? I mean, this was a retired deputy working a traffic detail at a college graduation.
Exactly.
And he retired in December, is my understanding.
So the nigga not even
an off-duty detail that he's working, and he's just working the traffic, you know, thing.
And that's my point, bro. The nigga don't even work for the department no more. That's what I'm saying. This nigga ran down and killed a civilian. Ran down and killed an old man. That's my feeling that, bro. If somebody killed one of my peoples, I would want to go get the nigga that did it. If I was feeling like that, I would want to go get the nigga that actually did it. Not just some random nigga. That's the only thing about that eye for an eye shit. Nigga, not eye for an eye. A nigga like me, man, I don't need just some eye for an eye. Nigga, I need a specific eye. That nigga's eye. I need a specific eye. I need the nigga's eye that did the shit that I don't like. I need that nigga eye, not some random motherfucker. That's not going to help me.
And
that's the only thing
he's
about
run
that,
down.
bro.
I mean, what has this been like for the police officers there in the Cincinnati area?
Quite honestly, it's terrible. You know, it's infuriating. It's sad. That a deputy who's there directing traffic, running a light for an occasion which should be a fantastic occasion. You got a bunch of University of Cincinnati students that are graduating. Should be a time to celebrate. Instead, it's nothing but a time of tragedy. From the first officer that responded, that had to try to administer CPR. To the deputies that all are on scene, to our traffic unit or homicide unit, everybody that's been involved with this. It's just an absolute, just seeing the evil that society has is something that has been very hard to deal with. And of course, we had the flying pig this weekend. Officers had to go right back to putting a uniform on as they're trying to process what occurred, to go in and protect the public, because that's what we're sworn to do. It's something that it's certainly going to be very, very difficult to get us through this process.
Mm-hmm. And it's my understanding, too, that Larry Henderson, I mean, this is somebody who had a wife. And I was reading last night, too, that I believe he was fostering some very young children.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute fantastic person. Had a fantastic career in the sheriff's department, and then retired and decided that still wanted to be involved. So he became a special deputy that, their primary function is to, work off-duty details where, on-duty people aren't available. Just to make some extra money in retirement, to be able to take care of his family further, the kids that he has. And it's just something that is absolutely senseless that never should have happened.
Do you expect that the prosecutor, I know you can't speak for the prosecutor, but do you expect that they will? I mean, do you believe that Connie Pillich, the newly elected Hamilton County prosecutor, will seek the death penalty in this case?
Well, the statement that she's made already is that she is going to throw the full force of the law to this defendant. And under the full force of the law would mean that she's going to pursue the death penalty. She certainly hasn't made any statements saying that yet. But that is something that, myself and every other police officer in this tri-state area expect that is going to happen.
Ken, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it is important to note that through this tragedy, though, the outpouring of support from the community, as you saw, officers working the Flying Pig, the Reds were in town this weekend, has been incredible. I know there's been a lot of keyboard warriors that have had threats towards the police and things like that on social media. But, when you see people face to face, the good people in this community, the elected leaders that have reached out to give condolences is something that, at least there's been at least something good that has come out of this. But we fully expect that he will be prosecuted. And like I said, I will be doing everything in my power to make sure that the death penalty is pursued.
And I know that you had told me before we started that you knew Larry Henderson just a little bit.
Bad, bro.
You didn't know him well.
That right there is eye for an eye to me. Not to say that he's right, not to say that I agree with this bald head, Mr. Clean looking motherfucker. But I'm just saying, for me, that would be eye for an eye. You kill one of my deputies, now we got to take you out. Now we have to pursue the death penalty. That's what we gonna do. So I understand that logic. But it doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't want to go kill some random nigga when I know that the nigga who did whatever it is that I didn't like, he took my son away from me, he's still breathing. So they took your son, then you took some random nigga in retaliation, and now they gonna take your life too. Man, this whole shit is fucked up, bro. But like I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off here. If y'all end up finding the footage shit before I do, or if it's out there, man, please leave a comment and let me know. Because I'm still iffy about Ryan. Like, did he point the gun at him? Did he... Like I said, bro, just because a nigga was walking around with a gun doesn't mean that he had any intentions on hurting anybody, bro. We can't say that. And we definitely can't say that he had intentions on hurting the officer if he was running away from him. But we can't see the footage.